This is Moxie Comic Books. Let's talk comics. Specifically, today I want to talk about Marvel's policy change regarding their free digital copies of the comics that you buy. As a lot of you guys know, if you buy Marvel comic books, you pay more than you would for a DC comic book of equal level. But a Marvel selling point up until recently has been that you get a free digital code that allows you to unlock a digital copy of the comic that you bought online. Now, I've never really been a fan of this, so when they announced that they were going to change, I kind of mulled over making this video. Like, was it really enough to make a criticism video of Marvel? And I went back and forth, and the more I thought about it, the more I was reading people's comments online. I think Marvel is making a huge mistake. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I'm not really a fan of Marvel's marketing. And Bleeding Cool has, recently kind of brought a lot of attention to the way Marvel kind of pads their numbers in the monthly and weekly sales reports that various news outlets like Bleeding Cool and Diamond Distributors kind of releases. And what's interesting about this is when I was in high school and in college, whenever you take a look at the top 10 comics in the back of Wizards magazine or something, like 8 or 9 of those books were Marvel books. If memory serves correct, I believe if you go back just a year, maybe a year and a half ago, 8 out of 10 top 10 books a month were Marvel books. This past month, in December 2016, 8 of the books were DC books. And I couldn't remember the last time when I paid attention to, the big two, going head to head in terms of sales numbers and seeing DC come out ahead. So I started to kind of think, okay, is it the general policy of Marvel's marketing that is hurting their sales? And I have to wonder, maybe? Yes? One of the things that I've criticized in previous videos is the fact that Marvel ships their comics usually with an ungodly number of variant covers, a lot of which have inflated prices and variant covers that are not that great. Every once in a while they come out with a variant cover that just kind of really stands out, and you want to drop down the extra $3 or $4 that they cost, or you get a variant cover that's just at cover price, but it's just better than their normal cover. But they've really gone overboard. Every comic, it seems like, gets a Scotty Young variant. They also have, most of the books that I've been taking a look at from Marvel ship with no less than 6 or 7 variant covers. One of the comics that I highlighted in my other video, which you guys can go see, they had over 50 variant covers. I mean, again, that just can't be cost effective. You have to pay the artist, you have to pay for the different, printings. Why do that? Especially if these are variant covers that aren't as good as even just the regular cover that it ships with. Plus, Bleeding Cool has, like I said earlier, has been highlighting the fact that Marvel has been shipping out to retailers discounted books that they didn't request. Or at, highly discounted prices to kind of incentivize retailers to carry their books. And it's so that they can kind of, push the narrative that they are selling more than DC, that they are kind of popular. But that just doesn't seem like the case. Now that brings me to, the other policy, the digital code policy. This is the latest policy change that they've made. So I'm trying to show a pattern here. a pattern that whoever's in charge at Marvel in making these marketing decisions, they seem to be bumbling. They seem to be failing to understand what the general comic audience is looking for. We're not looking for horrible variant covers. Whoever made the decision to ship books out every month with variant covers that are just, sometimes god awful, right? Or not that great. Whoever made the decision to, okay, well, if we're not going to beat DC content wise, let's just pad our numbers and, pull off economic shenanigans to push books out to retailers and make it seem like we're popular. It's got to be the same thought process that made them reconsider their digital code policy. So the way this worked previously was a standard DC book will cost you anywhere between $2.99 to $3.99. And DC lately has had really decent stories. And their Rebirth relaunch was, fairly well received. It's got a lot of people talking about, the whole Watchmen being crossed over with like the regular DC universe. And everyone's looking forward to when that happens, like in a couple of months, right? So DC has been publishing great books. Last year, they came out with like Omega Men, which was one of the best series that I'd ever read by Tom King, right? So DC's not shipping out like 50 or 20 variant covers with every comic, and their prices are about $2.99 to $3.99 for a decent story. Now Marvel, on the other hand, used to charge $3.99 to $4.99 for stories of equal quality. And, it's always subjective, right? You're going to always have Marvel fanboys versus DC fanboys. But, the comic reader in between, it's all personal taste. Maybe you liked Civil War II, right? Maybe you liked the revamped Captain Marvel or, Nova coming back. I mean, like, or the death of Wolverine, excuse me, right? Or the death of Cyclops. Spoilers, by the way. So, it's story-wise, it's all personal choice, but why would Marvel charge you more than DC? And their selling point to that was usually the reason why they charge an extra buck was because you got a free digital code. And a lot of fans were willing to pay that extra buck compared to picking up a DC book at a lower price, because that extra buck, people just kind of considered it a fee to get the digital code that you can then use to unlock the comic online yourself and read it wherever you went, which, by the way, never really made sense to me, right? Like, that never really made sense to me. But when people started trading the codes so that, for the cost of an extra buck, you got a physical copy of the comic you wanted, and, if you went to a place like Reddit or, another, comic book forum, you can trade your code for somebody else's code, and then you could read a digital copy of a book that you didn't purchase. Now that makes a lot of sense. That makes the dollar worth it. But now Marvel is saying that that digital code is no longer going to come with their comic books. It's going to be in comic book stores. And they're trying to pass this off like, well, we're really doing this to, motivate people to go to their local comic book stores. But I have a sneaking suspicion, based off of just a general pattern of decisions that Marvel is making, that that's not their main motive, And obviously they're a corporation, and, they have a CEO. They're trying to make profits. So it's totally fine for them to try and make as much money as possible. But in this case, I don't know if they're really making as much money as possible, because their policy doesn't really generate more money more than it just takes away a huge incentive that motivated comic fans to buy their books at an inflated price compared to DC books, which was you got the ability to trade that digital code and get a comic that you could read, right? That that you normally wouldn't have bought a physical copy of, so you can kind of check it out. Here's what I'm talking about. When you go to the comic book store now, you get a code that unlocks not the book that you bought, but a pre-selected number of previous books or like special highlight books. The problem with this is this negates the whole trading online thing, right? If everybody goes to their comic book store and gets the digital code, there's two or three problems I see with this. Number one, everyone's going to be unlocking the same comic. So number one, that kills the whole trade thing. Right there, the extra dollar that Marvel is charging no longer seems worth it. On top of that, it doesn't matter how many books you buy. Before, if you bought, 10 books, you paid maybe 10 extra bucks compared to a DC line. But you got 10 codes that unlock 10 comics that you could trade for 10 other comics. Now you buy 3 comics, you get 3 codes. You buy 5 comics, you unlock the same 3 codes. You buy 20 comics, you unlock the same 3 codes. Again, Marvel's not making any more money. They're making the same amount of inflated money that they made before, but they're taking away from us, their fans. And what's insulting is them just trying to push this off as like, this is going to be better because it pushes, like sales for like your local store. When really, it just seems like they're taking away something that kind of doesn't need to be taken away, right? On top of this, if you really think about, okay, so you have the fact that you're unlocking books that everybody's going to be unlocking, so you can't trade for it. You got the fact that it doesn't matter how many books you buy now. At a certain point, the more you buy, the less you get now compared to before. And the third problem you're going to see is, what if the code unlocks a book that you already own? Because some of this is going to be past books, right? So, all in all, this seems kind of suspect, and I'm not really convinced that the people at Marvel are making even like a good faith effort for their fans. Every comic company is trying to make money, but they're trying to make money and also please their fans. Take a look at Valiant, take a look at DC, take a look at Image. They market to their fans in ways that their fans wanted to be marketed to. Marvel, on the other hand, are pulling off like publicity stunts, pushing out product that nobody really wants. They're changing like their policies that isn't going to really generate any more money more than it just takes away from their fans. And I just don't understand what Marvel is thinking right now. I don't understand how in the long run it's not even just one policy decision that they're making that's bad. It's several. Despite what the stories are, despite what kind of comic books they're releasing, the quality may be good or bad, the company itself has really tested most comic fans' loyalties. And it's really doing it in the most insulting way by lying to us, right? By telling us, oh, we're doing this to enhance the community's experience. No, they're not. Okay? No, they're not. So, on Bleeding Cool a few days ago, they made aware that there is a petition at change.org asking Marvel to keep digital codes exactly the way they were before. So if you agree that the digital code policy change that they're making is horrible, then you can log on and you could join the petition, right? And maybe this will motivate Marvel to see the error of their ways, to see that, I highly doubt it though. I mean, like I said, they've been making some really suspect decisions in terms of marketing, in terms of logistics, in terms of their policies, right? So my faith in Marvel right now is really tested. I think there has to be a change at the top. I think, the CEO, the editors in chiefs, I think they all have to be changed. Okay. So I just want to make this quick video. Like I said, I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I should be criticizing Marvel so openly and early in my channel's history. But I think enough bad or ill will has been mounted by Marvel, and initiated by them, right, over the last like couple of years, where I wanted to kind of make aware to other people, who may not be following comic news as much, that Marvel is really, really testing the relationship between a comic reader and the publisher. Okay? So, leave a comment below. Maybe I got some of the facts wrong. Do you agree, disagree? Do you like Marvel's new policy? Is there a side of this or an angle of this that I'm not considering? Leave a comment below. If you agree, and you have other reasons why, that I didn't list it, then, please leave a comment below. Hit the like button if you like this video, and I'll start making more of these. And there's still a giveaway going on right now, which is if you become one of my first 100 subscribers to my channel at some point, or not at some point, but if I ever get to 100, I will immediately randomly choose one of my first 100 subscribers, and I will pay for shipping and send you out a copy of Alan Moore's Watchmen trade paperback. This is only open, unfortunately, to people in the US just because of shipping costs internationally. But if I ever get to 100, currently I'm still at about 3 subscribers right now. So shout out to all my subscribers, all 3 of you guys. But if we get to 100, I will ship that out to somebody. And hopefully it happens before hopefully it happens before DC's universe and Watchmen's universe kind of cross over. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of interest for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll release another video about a weird variant cover. Speaking about my hatred of variant covers that are horrible, there's a weird story that came out today about another variant cover from DC. But I'm going to make a whole separate video for that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.